In early January 2026, the United States launched large-scale military strikes on Venezuela, including airstrikes on Caracas and strategic sites, in an operation that resulted in the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, whom U.S. authorities transported to New York to face charges tied to narco-trafficking and other federal crimes. The strikes involved coordinated assaults on military bases and government structures and caused significant turmoil, with Venezuelan officials and allies describing the attack as a blatant aggression and violation of sovereignty. The U.S. government, led by President Donald Trump, defended the operation as necessary to enforce justice and protect U.S. national security, while hinting at continued pressure on other regional actors tied to illicit networks. Many countries and international organizations reacted strongly, predominantly with condemnation. Major Latin American neighbors like Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva called the strikes a dangerous precedent and a breach of Venezuelan sovereignty, while Colombia's leader Gustavo Petro, Mexico, Chile, and Uruguay issued statements decrying the military intervention and urging peaceful resolution and respect for international law. In Europe and beyond, France, Germany, Spain, South Africa, and the European Union called for de-escalation and adherence to UN principles, and China and Russia strongly condemned the use of force as an act of aggression. Cuba, a close ally of Venezuela, declared days of mourning after reporting the deaths of Cuban officers during the U.S. raid and denounced the operation as state terrorism. North Korea also labeled the U.S. action a severe encroachment on sovereignty and called for global protest. Some leaders offered limited support, such as Argentina's Javier Milei, who celebrated Maduro's removal as a victory for freedom, and a few regional politicians echoed anti-corruption and narco-state rhetoric. But these were exceptions amid widespread global alarm over legal, humanitarian, and geopolitical consequences. After the January 2026 U.S. military operation in Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, were captured by U.S. Special Forces in Caracas and immediately removed from the country. According to U.S. officials, both were transported under heavy security to the United States, where Maduro was placed in federal custody to face long-standing criminal charges, including allegations related to narco-terrorism, drug trafficking, and weapons conspiracies, while Cilia Flores was also detained in connection with related investigations. The U.S. government described the action as a law enforcement operation backed by existing indictments, not a regime change war, but Venezuela's authorities and allies rejected this claim, calling it an illegal kidnapping and a grave violation of national sovereignty. Following their removal, Venezuela's Supreme Court swore in Vice President Delcy Rodriguez as acting president, while protests and emergency measures were reported inside the country. Internationally, the detention of a sitting head of state triggered intense controversy, with many governments and organizations questioning the legality of holding Maduro and his wife in U.S. custody and warning that the episode could set a dangerous precedent in international relations.